Greetings, Algo artisans. It is Sunday. This is Cowboy. We're going to go over some items coming up this week in the news, and also we're going to talk about the tree ecosystem. We're going to jump into it right now. Start right here over on Gecko to look at tree, the ecosystem, the price, and the coin metrics, and then we're going to take a look at their website to see whether or not we like this opportunity. It is early, it seems. However, the price is at 25 cents, and we might say, well, usually when I get into a coin this early, I'm more interested in something that's worth like a fraction of a penny. Let's take a look at a couple of things in the metrics before we throw this one away, because it might actually be a good opportunity. Again, you can see right here, price is now 25 cents. It's not on the main charts yet, so all the charts that we can see are right here as far as I know. Even if we could see them, they're just going to look like this. So massive move up in March. Price was down to 10 cents, made its way up to 27 cents, and according to this chart, that's where it lies. So 25 cents here. Is that going back to January, beginning of the year? Price has gone up about a ×5, and that's pretty good. You know, as newer coins go, it's really good. So we have a market cap of 26 million, which is relatively low. It's not the lowest market cap I've ever seen, but obviously it's not a very high token just yet. Trading volume is 800,000. Circulating supply about 100 million tokens, a third of which are not circulating. So you do have about 35-ish%, 33-ish%, I don't know, coins that we don't know exactly where they are. And again, I'm going to go ahead and take a look if I can find some data on the vesting. The white paper is right here. So we'll jump into that momentarily. It says 45% of all tokens will go to a treasury governed by the 100 tree NFT holders, referred to as the DAO. Okay, treasury will be governed by the DAO. Each NFT has a voting weight of 1 for proposals, and each proposal may be vetoed by Tree of Alpha if it is deemed harmful to long-term prosperity. So this is about their governance. Token supply here. It says total supply is 200,000 tokens. Entire supply is unlocked on day 1, they say. There will be no lockup, no vesting, no staking, no burn, no scheduled buybacks. The token is donated as a subscription fee to the Treasury multisig. The Treasury supply should be considered for all purposes unlocked and circulating, since the DAO can choose to spend the tokens after majority vote among NFT holders. So obviously the NFT holders are those who create the DAO and have the voting power there. Supply split is as follows: 50% of it, 100,000 tokens, airdropped to Tree News users, 45% to the Treasury, 5% to the Tree of Alpha, part of which will be used as liquidity provision on Uniswap up the Tree ETH liquidity pool. So the token airdrop, the way that works is 70% to NFT holders, 15% to members who subscribed at least once before, 15% to people with unspent referral credits. For all the criteria, the snapshot was taken December 1st, 2023 at 1400 UTC. Claim started last December. So all of this, the long and the short of it, is that all the tokens are to be considered circulating, but we have to understand a lot of that is going to be, sitting in the treasury. Those are to be used apparently to, boost the project, but they're trying to ensure people that these are not going to be like sold onto the market and knock the price down. So while I'm never completely confident that that is not going to happen, I would say that it's probably not going to happen, but you never know. I mean, if everything falls apart, and if this project starts to fall apart, they may just sell into the market to collect whatever they can, go bankrupt. I mean, those things do happen, but not on the bull, not usually during the bull run. That usually happens once crypto dries up and money's not just flying all into these projects. So there's a decent chance we don't have to worry about that right now, but if this project really is not able to get its stuff together by the end of the bull, then who knows? Anything can happen. So, and I'm not speaking for them. I don't know them. I don't talk to them, but just so you understand, this is just the reality of the game, right? So, for all I know, this is going to be a massive project, do really, really well. In fact, I'm talking about it because I'm interested in it. So I like the relatively, I'm going to say like medium market cap. It's not in a completely very, very low market cap, but I do like that you have a $100 million supply and you have a $26 million market cap, right? For a circulating supply. So it wouldn't take a whole lot to put this thing up to $1. I mean, in the bull market, like a ×4, ×5, very, very realistic. Going up to $1, pretty realistic. Going up more, quite possible. It's going to depend on the quality of their product. So let's take a look at their product. Okay, so this is their website, and it's a decent looking website here. Relatively simple. Simple's not bad. bad. So they already have their aggregator that you can launch. You can see right here on Twitter. In fact, we'll go over to X, no longer Twitter. We'll take a look at their Twitter page right now. But of course, if you're, paying for their service, I imagine that their feed is going to be way better. They have scrapers, so the tree news monitors and filters more than 1,000 sources and more than 2,000 Twitter accounts to deliver important and breaking news to its users. Real-time announcements, their own X feed tree terminal is another item here. Tree subscribers gain access to Tree Terminal, a one-of-a-kind modular trading terminal to safely trade large sizes across several accounts on several exchanges without any hassle. So that's interesting. It looks like they have an exchange aggregator. I don't know anything about the actual tech behind it. I know anytime you start to trade through like APIs and stuff like that, there is always a security issue, but I imagine they have some kind of explanation as to why that's not a problem. But you have to do your own research on that for sure. A couple of different options here as far as the type of subscriber you want to be. $500 a month, $2,500 a month, and you can see the difference right there. Here's their trading terminal, standard type terminals. This might be great. I have no idea. I haven't tried it. It says here, Tree Terminal is one-of-a-kind trading terminal for high net worth traders to trade across multiple of accounts seamlessly. It features multi-account management, unlimited charts, order books, full customization, and much, much more. And then they just have listed down here Binance, Bybit, OKX. Does that mean that those are the only exchanges to which that terminal can connect? I don't know. I'm not sure what these three exchange items down here mean. It might be something I'm missing, might be more information on the site. It's just not clear based on what I'm seeing right now. So I'm just going to assume that those are the exchanges, but who knows? Maybe they got more. Okay, not entirely clear. Maybe they'll get that cleared up after not too long. So let's move on. Here is their X page, Twitter page, whatever you want to call it, Twitter X, Grayscale News, BlackRock News. So there's just the news feed that you get here. And I've got one article from April 26th, a few days ago, one post, and April 25th, several articles from that day. It may be, and I'm only assuming that if you are a subscriber, you get a lot more of this data. Maybe you're on a more special exclusive page that you have to actually pay for. So I'm not entirely sure, if there's a lot more news and stuff like that. Obviously, you're paying quite a bit, $500 a month. I'd imagine that their news is pretty darn good and pretty darn up to date for that kind of price if they can command that. I'd be interested to know how many people are actually subscribing. That's what I would be very interested to know. They do have 107 followers. Forgive me. They have 107,000 followers, which is a pretty decent amount of following. I mean, they've been around since July 2020. I don't know if it's always been Tree News since then, but this account itself has been around since 2020. So it's possible that this project has been being built for quite some time. I am interested in it. I don't really have a lot of data on, the price, except it's got up at ×5 since the beginning of the year, which is a good sign. But, a lot of coins in the bull market do that regardless of their value. So I would be interested to get a taste of this to see really how good their news is. A lot of news can be pretty good. These decentralized news aggregator, it's kind of a new concept. There are those who use to the date, up to the minute news to trade. Not my style, but I know people who make a lot of money doing that. So, and it's followed by a lot of people I know and follow. A lot of good traders on there. So that being the case, I'm going to go ahead and move on here. Let's take a look at the charts, and we'll also take a look at some items coming up for this week. I'm going to start with the actual news. Okay, so now these are news that tend to relate to FX, Forex markets. However, they will affect all markets, especially crypto, because crypto is an analog to Forex. Crypto is basically like, it's a currency market just like Forex is, and if the dollar especially is affected in a very strong way, it will affect crypto price. And maybe not as much as Forex markets, but in a way it matters, especially the big news. So let's see what we have. Monday, some Euro news, nothing really going on for the dollar. Tuesday, we have the unemployment cost index. It's a quarter-over-quarter measure. It's a red envelope. You can see that means it's a heavy impact, and that's at 8:30 EST. And then an hour and a half later, we have consumer confidence coming out. So on Tuesday morning, there could most likely be some volatility added to the market. So I may choose to trade after 10 AM EST. I might hold off on trades until then. Or if I had overnight trades, I might tighten up my stops or even exit them before that news. The next day, Wednesday, we have the ADP non-farm employment change. And this used to be a kind of an important number. However, it's still important. I mean, it's a heavy impact event. And there's also the manufacturing PMIs and JOLTS that all come out that same time. At 8:15 EST is the ADP non-farm employment change. Should have some volatility, but that might be muted because in another hour and a half, and then again 15 minutes after that, a lot of data comes out. I might jump in after FOMC because of FOMC, right? FOMC statement and press conference. So I can almost guarantee you that a lot of volatility is probably going to get sucked out of the market Wednesday, like Tuesday afternoon. Tuesday might be a decent day to trade once that data comes out and there is volatility. But again, it's probably going to get muted because the biggest, or at least possibly second biggest news is going to come out the next day. That's the federal funds rate, FOMC statement, and FOMC news conference. And this is pretty much, it's either going to be this or CPI. That's the biggest news. That's arguable as to which is going to affect which more. I mean, it depends. Is the FOMC going to be a surprise? Is Powell going to say something that we did not expect? Is he going to say, hey, we're going to cut when people might not be expecting a cut? Right now, some people think he might even hike rates at some point. And a cut right now, from everything I've been reading, is not necessarily expected because we keep seeing inflation being quote unquote sticky. Anything can happen. We'll see how that goes. I would not be trading until a little while after the press conference. I'd want to see what he has to say and then let that kind of get digested by markets. And of course, that might take a while. It might not be until that night European market that I care to trade something. Thursday, unemployment claims, that's a week over week number. So that happens every week. So it might not be that strong of a hit unless there is a major surprise, and that's all there is, and that is 8:30 EST. So trading after 8:30 is probably going to be decent, especially with volatility possibly left over from the prior day. It does depend. Sometimes the day after FOMC, the volatility dries up because it moves so hard in one direction that the market is just kind of hanging out. So Thursday is going to be a little bit unpredictable. We'll see how that goes. For Friday, we have more data, earnings, non-farm unemployment again from not ADP, just the standard, and then we have unemployment rate. So a lot of data coming out pretty early on Friday, and then we have some PMI data coming out at 8. So it might be surfable after, say, 8:30 AM EST on Friday. Might be able to get some trades in a little bit once that data is digested. Now, this here we have the ISM Services PMI. This is the Purchasing Manufacturers Index. If it's a big surprise, it'll affect the markets. If I were in a trade from earlier, again, I would either be out of the trade or tighten up those stops. And then once this data comes out later on at about 10 EST, might be time to trade. Let's take a brief look at Bitcoin, just to get a feel for the charts, and then I think we'll end the show. Okay, so here's Bitcoin on the daily, and we're looking at volatility really falling off a cliff. And you can see all these candles are getting smaller and smaller. So if I were to zoom in here, you can notice that you have these big, long, volatile candles and then not much going on here for the past few days. Definitely some moves. I made some good money shorting Solana, and but it does seem like volatility is falling off. And what that will mean is that whatever moves it does make are not going to be strong until it makes a strong move, right? So generally, price will kind of lose volatility. It'll range for a little while. And it seems right now, and again, this can change. What I'm about to draw right now is kind of a little premature. I would not be trading based on what I'm about to draw, but it does seem like price might create a range like this. This is a very tight range. I'm not going to trade based on this. I'm merely kind of prognosticating what might be the case. However, until a defined range happens, I'm probably not going to mess around. Probably not going to trade. I mean, there is some case to be made for a range that looks like this. If you go back, this is a decent thesis for a range. You have some prior moves. This might be like a range with a deviation. I mean, that's kind of realistic. I wouldn't mind trading on that. I'll leave that there for now, but what I am going to do is I'm going to take a look at the liquidity. Okay, so here's the Kingfisher. Okay, a lot of liquidity is just right around price, right? So you got some liquidity just above price, 64,000 up until really about 64.3. You can even push to 64.5. So that's where the vast majority of liquidity is on the upside. And then the downside, actually, it's a lot stronger to the downside, much stronger, and it's very close to price. Let's say 63.2 to 63.4 is really 63.2 to 63.4 is really strong, according to that chart. So yeah, I'll drop down to that 3 hour, and it does look like price is going to head down there. So it might be a little bit late to get into a trade on this. Maybe on a lower time frame, might be able to find some kind of trade dropping down into this area, and most of the action is going to be towards the top of that. There's not a whole lot of room. In fact, it's probably going to drop right now, just based on what I'm seeing in the charts. So that's essentially Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is really like the big decider right now. Okay, so right now, a lot of altcoins are seeming to kind of do well, like just little bits of well, right? They're stabilizing. You get a little bit of green, a little bit of red. I'm not getting too excited about the altcoins right now. I think everything is on the edge of its seat, waiting for Bitcoin to make a decision after the halving. So for now, there's not a whole lot of news in alts, but if you do have coins that you want to see, go ahead and join us for the live shows. They're Monday through Friday. It's a 10-minute live lab where you can come in and ask for charts. I will do a custom chart for you and right now we have the amount of people watching where I can actually accommodate requests. It won't be long before there will just be too many people for that, and you'll actually have to like do a super chat or something like that. But for the moment, we can accommodate. So come on over. It's 8:30 AM EST. We go for 10 minutes, and of course you can come to Algo Factory where we do the whole thing for about an hour, and we accommodate those requests for an hour. We teach people how to build their own algorithms, and depending on how you build the algo, people can extract money from the market on a daily, weekly, or monthly basis. So don't forget, algofactory.tech. Trade your job, upgrade your life. We'll see you on the next one.